What is going on, everybody? Of course, there was a delay because there always is, but while we're waiting for people to filter in, don't forget to check us out at twitter.com/lore reloaded and twitch.tv/lore reloaded. Love to see all of you guys here today. Always a fun time. It's probably going to be a pretty, well, much shorter one than what we generally do or try to do. But on that, let's go ahead and just get right into it. And by that, I mean say hi to a couple people. What's up, Bubba5456? We got Roy Del Pozo, who thinks I hate Janeway. Dave Gorman up in his house. Let's break it down. Let's discuss Voyager's lost potential, or perhaps it had no potential at all. What's going on, Charles Ryan Lee? Yulo Royer, Tommy Digate, Timmy the Squirrel, of course, German Trekkie in the house, Nathan Norman. So, when we discuss and kind of go into Voyager itself, the concept of Voyager, as I understand it, was kind of what we've seen, but more often not. You have two different crews from, let's say, opposite sides of the track, as it were. And they get lost in space and they have to come together and, no backup, no assistance, no one there to really help them out or to assist in getting home. And so they're lost and they have to do what they have to do. And it was supposed to be something that was a challenge. Now, there's a couple of things with that I have somewhat of an issue with. And really, the problem is, first, you have to take a look at the era, maybe, that it was in. Specifically speaking about how, at that time, doing serialized writing just was not something that was considered to be done. Something that they didn't really like putting together. Especially for Star Trek, but a lot of TV series didn't do that. Especially when it was done in the 80s, 90s, and so on. And then you take with that the look of how Star Trek had to be was very upbeat, very relaxed, very family-friendly. And so they took that almost to an unreasonable degree. I do think that you can do dark. You can do, I don't want to say more depth, because you can do depth without going dark, but you can go a certain way and still keep the spirit of Star Trek. I think they did it ultimately with Deep Space Nine. That they had dark, they had grittiness, they had a sense of dread, and yet still somehow came out on top. They did it with the Borg, in my opinion. So I think you could have done it with Voyager. You just have to elongate it. That's basically the show, right? But they didn't do that. Effectively, because of the way ratings were going, they tried to go back to what people liked. TNG was the highest rated Star Trek series. Even the original series didn't match it. And so they tried to return to a next generation way of looking. And unfortunately, that really didn't do much for them. It didn't help them out. And I think that's where the lost potential went, because they should have committed to doing a more Star Trek meets Battlestar Galactica. A lot of people put it out that way. I think if they went like The Expanse, like we did in Star Trek Enterprise, it would have actually done a lot better. But, when you take risks, people could also lose their job, So when you have 100, 200 people or more relying on you for a paycheck, taking risks isn't always something that people want to do. What's going on, Peter Quinn? Nathan Norman said they should have done more with the Prelor robots. It could have been hunting Voyager that united the robots. You could have had 5, maybe 6 episodes out of that, maybe. Voyager had its ups and downs, says Chrysosos. I love certain episodes. Dark Frontier, for example. They were both cool, tense, and with a good story to tell. Dark Frontier. I probably should instantly know that, and people are going to get on to me because I don't. Voyager, Dark Frontier. Ah, yeah. I mean, Dark Frontier was interesting. It broke the Borg in several ways. I actually did a breakdown of that in my Borg breakdown. It broke the Borg in several ways. I didn't hate Dark Frontier. Babylon was one comprehensive and cohesive story. Each episode added a piece to it, and that kind of storytelling was awesome. Well, I would agree, Crozu, I guess. But again, I would honestly say that the way it was done was perhaps not the norm for the time. So, I don't know. Battlestar before Battlestar would have been great, but they would have had to have a heck of a good writer. Well, definitely multiple good writers for sure. I do think that in order to, I would say that in order to effectively write this, you would have to have a Battlestar like mentality, a Deep Space Nine mentality to really have anything of worth. Interestingly, and I believe this is true, the person who went on to write Battlestar Galactica was on Voyager. He just didn't like the way they were going with it. He was a writer. Honestly, the only thing that I would say could have done a lot better is if they'd had continuity and things actually matter. So if Voyager gets the hell broken out of it, the hell beat out of it, then it definitely should have moved that into the next episode. And this is an idea from Lore Runner more than anything else, but Lore Runner wanted them, the first season, and I agree with this, the first season should have been nothing but power issues, nothing but power outages. Everything that they discussed. What's up, Thomas Potts? $1.99. Thank you so much for the support. It's how I keep the lights on. Anything that would have happened should have had to do with the fact that Voyager couldn't sustain itself. And then from there, season 2, season 3, season 4, they more moved into fixing those issues. You know, they more addressed the power outages themselves. Looks like Anti-Trekker sent a raid. What's going on to everybody doing the Anti-Trekker? From Anti-Trekker? God, I'm still a little tired. So, and I got a cat that's bugging me. That's part of my issue. What's up, buddy? All right, go play. I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts? Do you think you could have worked? Because again, Voyager would have had to have been darker inherently for that to work. And I don't know that people are willing to have Trek inherently dark. By the way, everyone right now, if you could go right there and say hi to the Anti-Trekker. Let's do a counter raid. And hit that like button. How's he have more likes than me and I have more people than him? How's that work? All right. Go ahead and go there and say hi to the Anti-Trekker. And we can't continue on. And I won't read your comments until you go and you say hi. I'll be watching and I better see highs there. And that's going to be the way that it works. So y'all better do it. Better do it now. Now, and so I'm waiting for you guys to do that because I know you're going to do it because you're awesome. That's an interesting concept, honestly. A lot of people are saying, well, they should have done the robots, they should have done the holograms, they should have done the Voyager, and things of that nature. I wonder if you could have made it so that... I wonder if you could have done it so that that Voyager actually had eras. So hear me out here. So let's say that you had... All right, go, buddy. Go. Let's say that you had the first season be the era of power, the era of coming together, right? So again, they don't know how... They're having issues with the ability of keeping the ship going. And so they have to start to slowly adapt technology where, again, Voyager becomes self-sustaining. And then in the second season, we have maybe the era of the Vidians. Uh, I don't know. I'm curious how that would work out. Uh, then after the Vidians, we have the Voyager, and then after that, we have so and so. I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts? Let me know on that. Don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget, everybody, to just make it green. It's more scared of you than you are of it. Voyager was designed to be a story about a family coming together. The setting was an excuse to force disparate groups together. I think it succeeded as that, says Andrew Gilbertson. It succeeded as that in like the third episode. It's like, oh, look, we're so different from each other. Oh, no. Third episode, everybody just falls into line. Everybody starts doing the Starfleet mantra. It's no problem. So, yes, I think they accomplished that, but there was no real conflict in that instance. And again, that was the entire reason for the Maquis. The reason why we started seeing it in the Next Generation and then saw it in Deep Space Nine was to build up for Voyager. They were setting it that far in advance, and it didn't mean anything. It didn't go anywhere. And again, that should have been a part of season 1, coming together. And in fact, you could have done seasons or parts of episodes where the Starfleet way won't get you anywhere, but the Maquis way will. I think that would have been a lot more interesting if you had went that route. That, hey, we're fighting this enemy. For some reason, the Starfleet can't address it, so let's do it like the Maquis had. And there was an episode. Where was it? Give me a second. Worst case scenario, and that was a season 3 episode 25. And in that episode, there was a hologram or a holodeck simulation that meant, what if the Maquis attempted to rebel? And that should have been in season 1. That shouldn't have been a holodeck program. That should have been season 1. Maybe episode 4 or 5, where the Maquis attempt to take over the ship because they don't want to be under Starfleet rules. And then Chakotay has to team up with Janeway and Starfleet and the Starfleet crew, not only to take the ship back, but to convince the Maquis that they had to be a part of the crew for them to survive. And then the Starfleet officers had to learn to forgive and to start to trust again. How interesting if they'd actually push that to be the story that it was, to be that. Now that's a risk. That is, honest to God, a risk, because one of the things Gene didn't want was Starfleet arguing with themselves, and really when he said Starfleet, he meant humans. So that would have went against Gene's vision. But how cool would that have been of like a 2-parter? And yeah, Peter Haig, 86. I think that would have been a good idea too. So doing it the Maquis way, what if after the Kazon took over the ship? No, let me rephrase that. I misread Peter Haig, 86. Instead of doing it that way, because Peter Haig, 86 says, or after the Kazon took over the ship and they reclaimed it, the Maquis tried to take it again just after that. No. Here's the way I would have written it. Here's what I would have done. You have the Vidian, not the Vidians, I got them. You have the Kazon take the ship, and Starfleet be inadequate to get it back. All the Starfleet officers just can't do it. So Janeway teams up with Chakotay, and they get the ship back the Maquis way, which is through freedom fighting, through terrorism, through things like that, things that Starfleet isn't used to, but the Maquis are specifically suited for. So there's just, and looking back on it, there is some, it being 50-50, I guess. It's easy to look back and say, oh, they should have done this, they should have done that. I'm not saying that it's not easy to pass judgment in the past. But I do think that they reason why they failed was because they weren't willing to take the risks. They weren't willing to go against Gene's uh, wishes. And that's one of the things I have. That's one of the issues. It's both a strength and I think a problem with. What was his name? Not Kirkman. Definitely not Kirkman. Wait for it. Berman. So one of the things with Berman is he wasn't willing to go against Roddenberry. He wanted to keep it pure, like Roddenberry had wanted. And that's ultimately why I think it failed. And I also think that's also how that's how I think it failed. And I do think as well that's why DS9 did well when he left DS9 to focus on Voyager. I've said this before, and a lot of people agree. Roddenberry is a great creator of settings, creator of worlds, of universes. He's not so good at actually making that universe work. The Bajorans were arguing over literal farming equipment. I think so little of the Bajorans that it's irrelevant, says Don Juan. Well, that's fair. J.R. Chadwick, someone else who helps the channel out so much. Thank you so much, guys. Can't do it without support from people like you. How slow was Voyager traveling that the Nistrum was able to follow them for 2 seasons? The Nistrum... Oh, and we got a new member, Dave Tetra. So for you guys who don't know, you can either become a patron at patreon.com/Lore Reloaded, or you can become a member, get some of the same perks. Just hit that join button down below. Every little bit helps. I sincerely appreciate you guys and everything you do. Let me remember who the Kazon Nistrum. Oh, they were following them for 2 seasons? I never really, I guess. I always looked at it as they were in their space, but they had reoccurring roles. In theory, Voyager was far, far faster. It was one of the fastest ships in the Alpha and Delta Quadrant. It can go like 9.998 or something stupid like that. So I don't know. I'll have to take a look. I don't know what the DASI or DASE application is. I'll have to take a look at it. I'm assuming it's something horrific. In my opinion, Discovery is the other extreme, being too serialized and not taking a break to develop characters. DS9 struck a good balance. You lawyer, I disagree. I don't think that the I don't think that it was serialized that was Discovery's issue. The fact that it was serialized isn't a problem, but where the focus is and what they were trying to tell, I think that is the problem. I completely and utterly agree. The Star Trek has always been about a future that, even when it's grim, still has a little bit of light, has always been about people coming together, and has always been hopeful. And Star Trek Discovery was none of those things. I think even in season 2, it really wasn't. And I think that's the ultimate problem. Now, there is something I want to address real quick that came up. Where is it? Maybe I lost it. Let me see. Live at the Love Shack says, buy a new shirt, Lore. Hold on, buddy. I got this. I got this for you. Hold on. Wait for it now, because this. All right, here you go. What I need you to do is, and it's gonna be a little scary. I get that, buddy. I sincerely do. I get that. It's gonna be a little scary, and we all get very scared at first. But I need you to click on this link, Love Shack. And then I need you to donate $50 to me. And if you donate $50, I shall go and purchase one of these new shirts and even wear it here. So just go there and do that. J.R. Chadwick says, I'll sign up for your Patreon right now if you promise to do a video on a topic from the animated series. J.R. Chadwick, I've done a couple on the animated series, in fact. When I'm talking about the Romulan lore, I do intend to break down all of the animated series, whether you become a Patreon or not. I do intend to break down all of the animated series. It's just a matter of when. The animated series is, of Nostalgia Track, my least favorite. I may even like Discovery Season 2 over the animated series, but I do intend to do it. Virginia Hansen serialized is a weakness. If the overall story arc you're telling sucks, it's a strength if it's good. I would agree with that, Virginia Hansen. I was kind of surprised they haven't made more improvised heavy-hitting stuff, like when in Andromeda Ascendant they had Harper made them negative energy bomb, aka improvised mass whacker bomb. They're more interested in... See, it's really interesting. I think that the people they've hired are more interested in diversity and in talking about why something is bad and not completely understanding Star Trek than hitting heavy topics. They did have some interesting ideas. They did have some things that I think made you think. But I really don't think they did well overall, in my opinion. I don't. Babylon 5 was a serial and it had some excellent stories. Babylon 5 was serialized. Babylon 5 was heavily serialized. Massively so. Babylon 5 was written... everything was front-loaded with Babylon 5. It was absolutely serialized. In fact, they had issues when they had to change out the stars because it was so massively front-ended. Random shield failures, power dropping in combat, have to use their minds and tactics to overcome, maybe trading for ordnance or parts that don't always work. Dud torpedoes in combat. Okay, not sure what we're talking about there. Discovery writers don't understand philosophy or subtlety. I'll agree they don't understand subtlety. Either they don't understand it or they choose not to write it. One or the other. Because you can't... There's no way they could write... There's no way they could make what they made and it not turn out in a different way. This one is going to be a little bit shorter, guys, because I have quite a few things that I have to do. I just kind of want to come on and have a conversation and chat with you. Probably not going to get a video out today. I'm getting the last Year of Hell out tomorrow. A name I can't pronounce. Someone from Russia. Thank you so much for supporting. I'm assuming that's Russian. Oh, Vovacat. Hey, is it actually okay to be a Voyager fan? Probably it's just good memories, and I think they really nailed it with several two-parters. I mean, it's fine to be a Voyager fan. It's fine to be a Discovery fan. See, the thing about this channel, something that people will often get confused about or not understand is just because I don't like something doesn't mean that I'm not open to other people not liking it. If you like Discovery, if you think Discovery is cool or awesome, it's fine. I disagree. We can have arguments about it. Same goes for Voyager. I think Voyager had some excellent episodes. I think Voyager is generally better than Discovery when you're looking at continuity or Star Trek. I think Discovery is better if you're looking at... I think Discovery is better if you're looking at... sci-fi, but gritty sci-fi. Gritty light, I guess, maybe. Always a pleasure. Lore Reloaded at Continuum did not say that. Just trolling. Oh, you're trolling me? I'm so confused. German Trekkie and Continuum Trek are pretty good channels. I'm actually subscribed to them. You guys should check them out. Ghost of Wrestling helping me out with 15. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. Funny, if I was an actor on Voyager, I'd be mad about 7 of 9, who got real character development, unlike others. I think more or less they got character development. Janeway for sure. Chakotay a little, not much. 7 of 9, definitively. I don't know. I think they could have done better. I agree. I would agree to being a Voyager fan. Of course, you can argue about inconsistency, but this is still 1995 to 2001. People still recorded episodes to VHS. Yeah, I don't think that has anything to do with consistency. You had all kinds of different videos that were consistency. DuckTales was generally very consistent and was a kid's show. So you can't sit there and tell me that you can't have consistency necessarily. But when it comes to some of the ways they work or some of the way things act, I can understand. It's like looking at the original series. The original series, I think, had some things that society, I'll say, consider aberrant for today. But, you know, they doesn't mean it wasn't good or there weren't things that you can take a look at. J.R. Chadwick just pledged on Patreon. Thank you so much, J.R. Chadwick. I will endeavor to get the animated series out starting within the next couple of weeks. I should do an episode on DuckTales. I really should. I really should. All right, guys, we're going to be ending this fairly shortly. I just want to do something pretty quick. What's going on, Commander Sloan? Almost missed the live stream. Was getting ready for the tropical storm, Dorian. Well, you got to be careful, man. Y'all want to see what I've been doing for a minute? You care? Completely unrelated. And I know you guys absolutely love all of the work that I do. Something that's been keeping me busy. For those who don't know, I actually go to film school. And I finally started doing massive work when it comes to the actual picture part of it, of working with the camera and everything. I actually intend to start incorporating stuff like that. You've already actually seen it started to be incorporated. I can talk to the characters more intelligently and things like that. And so I've started doing some pictures and stuff. And I don't know that I can just sit here and show you this. I may not be able to. Let's find out. Let's find out together, shan't we? Not that it's really hard to figure out stuff. So give me a second. So let's do this. So that I'm not doing this in a completely stupid way. And so that all of you guys can leave irritated. You can leave the irritated people. Because, you know, I'm not doing my job if you're not mad at me. That's the way I look at it. That's the way life goes. Wait for it. Wait for it. So a part of that is just taking shots and better understanding how a camera works. Again, I completely and utterly believe that in order to do well and to understand and to speak to a work consistently, you need to be able to understand everything that they've done, or at least understand it to a degree. So again, I'm actually doing camera work now, and this is what I've been doing most of my days when I'm not doing stuff for you. So it's either that or this. Yeah. So you have like this picture. I thought this was actually a good picture, but my professor absolutely hated it. Well, he didn't hate it. He just didn't think it was good. And then you have this one. Doing stuff like that. No, none of y'all don't care, but that's hours of work right there. Anyway, I don't care if you don't care. Guys, I hope you have enjoyed it. Tomorrow we will be doing the Year of Hell. I'll be trying to do more of these. I'll try to get an hour one out. If you're watching this, and let's see if he's still on. Wait for it. Wait for it. Stay here. Don't leave. I know you want to click away. I can already see it. I can already tell. If you're here and you want to go watch somebody else, then consider looking at the Anti-Trekker. I'm going to go ahead and put him in that. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe, guys. I'm going to see you on the next Lore Reloaded.